I hope you guys are good. Hope you guys are good. Welcome to the agenda and welcome to our Sunday discussions. So we're to the black perspective. This segment we call it the black perspective. So where we are discussing issues that affect us black people, right? Issues that affect us directly as black people. So and today we are talking Floyd Shivambu. Today we are talking Floyd Shivambu and the attacks, criticism. I don't know. It's up to you. How do you decide to term it? Do you term it as an attack? To term it as criticism that Floyd Shivambu is currently faced with? This emanates from the fact that Floyd Shivambu went to over to Malawi over this Easter weekend. So Floyd Shivambu went to Malawi to visit the controversial church. This is the Enlightenment. Yeah, yes. This is the name of the church. It is the Enlightenment. Let me just get the name of the church here. I'll be for now. Yes. That is led by Bushiri. That is led by the controversial figure called Bushiri. So Floyd Shivambu was over in Malawi, and we saw Floyd Shivambu and even Bushiri posting on X, formerly known as Twitter. We saw them posting about the gathering and their meeting, and we've seen the outrage, the outrage. So do you guys think the outrage? Do you think the outrage is justified? The outrage that has been directed at Floyd Shivambu over this visit. Of course, we also know Bushiri and the legal troubles that Bushiri has in South Africa, and in terms of how he left the country, and how Bushiri left the country, because he and his wife, they were out on bail. They were out on bail when they left, when they then ran off. They left the country, and we know that they are currently engaged in the legal battles with the government of South Africa. They are currently engaged in the legal battle with the South African government, as the South African government is trying to bring them back to South Africa to face the allegations that they are confronted with. And we know the Bushiris are challenging that. They are even appealing, because it was last week or last month where the court declared that the court in Malawi ruled in favor of South Africa that the Bushiris must be brought back to South Africa. So the Bushiris are currently appealing that. And one of the reasons that they've been advancing it is that they do not think and believe that they will receive a fair trial in South Africa. So that is their contention, that they believe that they will not receive a fair trial in South Africa. Hence, they are refusing to go back to South Africa. So actually, just to give you the background of the story, maybe of those of you who are not aware and asking themselves why such outrage and uproar regarding the Floyd Shivambu's visit to Bushiri's church in Malawi, because currently Bushiri is characterized as a refugee who's running away from the South African law. So we know that Floyd Shivambu occupies a key position of responsibility within a political party, which is the third biggest political party in South Africa. That is Umkhonto weSizwe Party. But also, when you go to parliament, the Umkhonto weSizwe Party is currently the official opposition, by virtue of the second biggest political party, Democratic Alliance, having gone into the coalition government with the biggest party, which is the African National Congress, therefore leaving Umkhonto weSizwe Party to be the official opposition. So Floyd Shivambu is the Secretary General of the official opposition in South Africa. So he's an engine of the organization. He runs Umkhonto weSizwe Party. So the Umkhonto weSizwe Party, after seeing the outrage and uproar, has released a statement distancing themselves from the visit by Floyd Shivambu, So what I will do, I will read the statement of Umkhonto weSizwe Party that they released yesterday, in the 19th, yes. Umkhonto weSizwe Party distances itself from Secretary General's visit to Shepherd Bushiri's church. The Umkhonto weSizwe Party wishes to categorically distance itself from the recent visit by our Secretary General to the Enlightened Christian Gathering, ECG. That's the name of the church. The Bushiri's church is ECG, which is Enlightened Christian Gathering Church, led by self-proclaimed prophet Shepherd Bushiri in Malawi. The party wishes to make it unequivocally clear that this visit was not sanctioned, endorsed, or initiated by the leadership or any official structure of the Umkhonto weSizwe Party. The Secretary General undertook this visit in his personal capacity and without the mandate or knowledge of the party. The Umkhonto weSizwe Party upholds the rule of law and maintains a zero-tolerance stance on criminality in all its forms. Hello, Leo Jela. How are you? I hope you're well. I'm good. Thank you for joining the platform. When in an unprecedented case, President Jacob Zuma was sent to prison without trial under Roman Dutch law, he did not flee from justice, but was incarcerated and served his time. Motlajo, hello, welcome to the platform. All right, thank you guys for joining in. Let me hear your views as well. I'm still reading the statement. Just to digest the statement. Mosara Tolo, thank you for joining in. What are your views regarding the whole thing with Floyd Shivhambu and the Umkhonto weSizwe Party distancing themselves from this visit? But let me just go through the statement. Where were we? Okay. Even though it was okay, yes, he did not flee from justice, was incarcerated and served his time, even though it was a miscarriage of justice and a violation of his human rights. We remain firmly opposed to any association of individuals who are fugitive from justice. Our values are rooted in integrity, justice, and accountability, and we reject any actions that compromise the reputation and ethical standing of our movement. My day is good. My day is going well. Thank you, Leo. No, I'm well, guys. I can't complain that much. So the statement continues. Furthermore, the Umkhonto weSizwe Party strongly condemns all forms of gender-based violence and exploitation of vulnerable communities, especially innocent Christian believers, by individuals who manipulate faith for personal enrichment or to evade justice. Our party stands with the victims of such exploitation and will never align itself with those who use religion as a shield to defraud, abuse, or mislead the public. We reiterate our commitment to ethical leadership and the principles of justice, and we call on all members and representatives of the Umkhonto weSizwe Party to act in a manner that reflects the highest standards of responsibility and accountability. Ends the statement. That's how the Umkhonto weSizwe Party statement reads. So there's a lot that the statement says here, of which can be seen as even contradictions. Because in its stance, the Umkhonto weSizwe Party has been standing against the Roman Dutch law. So now you'd pose a question to say, if the Umkhonto weSizwe Party says that they do not recognize the Roman Dutch law, then how do you then reconcile the fact that this individual called Bushiri, who's currently deemed a refugee running from the Roman Dutch law, how do they now consider you as Umkhonto weSizwe Party? How do they consider him to be a refugee under the same law that you say you do not recognize? You see where the contradictions rise. Now you have to ask, where does this recognition and rejection of the Roman Dutch law by Umkhonto weSizwe Party, where does it start And where does it end? Is it a case of controversies of party picking and choosing which aspects of the Roman Dutch law they accept and which parts of the Roman Dutch law that they reject? I think they have to come out clearly. I've seen somewhere in the news that at 2 a.m. Constitutional Party is going to have a press briefing. Not too sure are they going to be addressing this issue or not. But now you ask yourself the question that you say you cannot be governed by the Roman Dutch law, meaning you reject it. But in this instance, when it comes to the Bushiri matter, you want to recognize it. Because it is the same law. It is the same Roman Dutch law that Bushiri is being tried under, isn't it? So hence I'm saying then in that case they have to be clear that do they recognize certain parts of the Roman Dutch law? Do they subscribe to certain parts of the Roman Dutch law? Or do they totally reject it? It's the case of them being selective in certain aspects. You see, that's some of the confusions that you kind of like find when it comes to the controversies party in terms of their policy standings. You see, but then moving away from that, another part that you have to ask the question: what do you guys think was Floyd Shivhambu's thinking for him to decide to go to Malawi and visit the ECG church and Bushiri? Because of course, Floyd Shivhambu is not a fool. He's not an idiot. He's someone who's highly educated, whose ideological clarity is second to none in this country. He knows the controversies. He knows the controversies that surround this individual called Bushiri. So why do you think he deemed it fit for him to associate himself with Bushiri, knowing the kind of a backlash that this visit would attract, not just to him as an individual, but to the political party itself? What do you think were his motives? Do you think he miscalculated? Amogelang Maropela, I'm not sure when you say I'd like to know what are you talking about, because actually here I'm talking about the Floyd Shivhambu's visit to the ECG church in Malawi and the uproar that has attracted. So I'm posing the question that what do you think was the thinking by Floyd Shivhambu behind his actions? What was he trying to gain out of that? Knowing that Bushiri is someone who's currently wanted in South Africa. And also juxtapose that with Dr. Mbuyiseni, who visited Malawi last week and was invited by a church in Malawi, a group in the church, where he took a swipe at Bushiri. And the questions are being asked about the Bushiri, say, if he believes that he's innocent of all the accusations that he's facing, the serious accusations that he's facing in South Africa and the allegations, then why is he running away from the law? Why is he running away from South Africa? The reasons that he's advancing that he believes he will not get a fair trial in South Africa. Do you think he's got a leg there? Do you agree with Bushiri when he says he will not get a fair trial in South Africa? And what makes him think that he will not get a fair trial in South Africa? What is that he's pointing out that gives him the impression that he's not going to get a fair trial in South Africa? So, for Floyd Shivhambu to associate himself with that, I said that does not only affect him in his individual capacity, but the organization that he leads as well. Because for Umkhonto Party to come out in the statement to say what they said, remember that they did not come out immediately. It was after they saw the reaction, the online reaction from South Africans. That's why the Umkhonto Party decided to issue the statement distancing the organization from the actions by its Secretary General. You see. So then you ask that question, say, but then again, in terms of the people associating themselves with certain people, where do the right for or the freedom of association start and end? You see. Do you see that the difficulties this poses on us as a society? And you see, even this has even united. It was quite strange. You even saw that the Minister of Justice, Mamuluko Kubai, coming out. Of course, you know those ANC opportunists. They'll want to lash it at anything that looks like it will give them the political mileage. Coming out, condemning Floyd Shivhambu and all of that. And when it is pointed out to her, but Floyd Shivhambu is not even a member of parliament. It's not part of government and all of that. But leave that. But what this has done has united people that we never thought would be united. To see members of the ANC and those who within the Umkhonto Party, of course, don't want Floyd Shivhambu there in the Umkhonto Party. And those in the EFF who have not recovered from Floyd Shivhambu's departure, who want to see Floyd Shivhambu falls, have somehow now coalesced as a group. They seem to be in agreement on this instance. But then you see how polarizing this Bushiri figure is. Because even within the EFF, you've got the likes of Naledi Chiro and all of that, who openly support Bushiri. You see. But in terms of the backlash, have they been subjected to the same backlash and all of that? And another question that I need you to ask you guys, do you think this will now weaken Floyd Shivhambu within the Umkhonto Party? Because the statement that is written here, you can tell the people that have written the statement are people, of course, who somehow have been waiting for this opportunity to deal with Floyd Shivhambu. Hence, I'm asking, do you think it was a miscalculation on his part? And what was he trying to achieve by going there? Was it a point of him trying to attract members of the ECG who are still in South Africa to win them over to the side of the Umkhonto Party? Or what do you think was the motive in all of that? You see. So, because even those who penned the statement, they still have to explain to us the contradictions here. Because for an organization that claims that it does not recognize the Roman Dutch law, it rejects it. But then you've got people who are charged under the same Roman Dutch law, who are currently referred to as being refugees. So the Umkhonto Party agrees that they are refugees in terms of the Roman Dutch law. But how do you do that when you yourself have said but you reject this thing? You see. I don't know. We don't know what that press briefing at 2 p.m. is going to be all about and all of it. But those are the questions I think needs to be made clear on our part as people of South Africa, especially even for someone like me. I may not be a member of the Umkhonto Party, but someone who voted for the Umkhonto Party and all of that. You see. So we need answers on some of those things. And I think even with Floyd Shivhambu, he needs to take people into confidence about what was he trying to achieve by this. Was it smart on his part to do what he did? You see. I don't know, guys. I'm willing to hear from you guys. What are your views on the matter? And thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Then we'll meet again Sunday, same time between 12 or 1. Then we'll meet to have a conversation as Black people about matters that affect us as Black people, about issues that we are passionate about, issues that affect our own development as Black people, our own well-being, our own unity. as black people. Of course, this matter for Shivambu opens another can of worms, because we've seen leaders who claim to be holy and who have been associating themselves with apartheid killers, with people who murdered our people. But they've been openly associating with those people. So this moral high ground, it is very problematic. And in us saying that, must also consider the fact that there are people who are victims or who claim to be victims of this man, Bushiri, and all of that. So in the process as well, we are not saying this man is a saint and all of those things. But we are saying that there must be consistency in how we do things. Thank you very much for tuning in. Let's meet again on Sunday. Siyabonga, ma-Afrika mahle.